Hello, friends. Happy Friday. I hope your weekend is off to a great start. It's so good to see so many folks here joining us already. I am smoking some Haunted Bookshop in the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli, as is the tradition, and just making sure I don't have any technical issues as we zoom on into the show. So, welcome to the YouTube Pike Community Friday Night Smackdown. I don't actually know what that means. I'm babbling. It's been a long day. I barely got this thing off the ground in time. I'm very happy that I did. So how we doing? Let's see who we got here. There's Patrick Grant. How you doing, Patrick? Smarty Bob. Poem. Tony R2390. WKR Piper in Cincinnati. Good to see you, Odie. Big Dave. What's your vector, Victor? Okay. Tim Fernier. Good to see you, Tim. Bobby Henderson, good evening. Nice to see you, Bobby. Big Dave wants to know, when is it going to be autumn? As soon as the great pumpkin arrives, Big Dave. Signalman Tony from Rhode Island, Andrew Sirigliano, and Flint Hill Briar. Happy Friday to you all. There's Stanley Smith checking in. Good to see you, Stanley. Piper on the 45, Lord Hogarth. Looks like the gang's all here. Good to see so many folks turning out. And yeah, I got everything set up. I filled the pipe. I did the first light, and I had to hit go. So it was a bit of a rush here at the last minute, but it seems to have worked, which is rare. Tom Sutz, there are no lurkers. Only friends. And there's Phil Rivera. How you doing, Phil? Good to see you, buddy. My beverage tonight, which I did not get a chance to open yet, is a Yingling Oktoberfest. This is the fault of my buddy the Durham Duke, who sent me a photograph of a six-pack and asked me if I had it, and I said no, but I have to now. So off to the store I went. And I had some the other night. It's quite nice. It's much heavier than regular Yingling, and that's fine. You know, it should be for an Oktoberfest beer. A nice occasional treat, but not a beer that I will likely be buying more than the 12-pack I had. I'll enjoy the 12-pack, but now without Roger Godell. Yes, 100% less Roger Godell, Tim. There's White Ash Piper squared. Rick Allen, question to the group. Is there another tobacco with a similar taste to Burley Plug 3Ps? I'll let the group answer that, Rick, because I do not know. It's always a rabbit hole to go down, Rick, because what one person thinks will taste exactly the same, another person will say it tastes nothing like it. Everybody's experience is a bit unique, which is a good thing. Pipe time! And there's Armchair Piper. Hello, Ed. And Ed, I will try my darndest to make an announcement for you later tonight. Wait until the room fills up a bit. Smarty Bob bringing up the ginger story. Yes, I'm glad somebody read the read the description. Patrick Grant says he loves the 3Ps but can't think of anything similar. I need my glasses for this one. Oh, Phil, I'm really confused. Okay, you're talking to somebody else. Michael Case. Hey, Michael. Having a large cherry wood and a glass of soda water. Very nice. Very nice. Phil had me confused. I thought he was doing a time travel thing there with his 1972 comment. Dwight Ryder, good evening to you, sir. I started watching a new well, it's not a new Netflix series, but a Netflix series. What was it? Thursday night, last night, and boy, I got almost instantly hooked on this thing. It's really really good. It's called Dark. It's German. You can get it with English subtitles or dubbed. It's time travel. It's very convoluted. People looping back on themselves, and it involves some mystery, and it's just really well done. So I've been thinking a lot watching this about, and I was watching it earlier today, which is why I got so far behind, because I decided to watch an episode of this instead of doing things I needed to do. Anyway, it's good. So, and it's time travel, so that's why Phil had me confused. No, Tim, I didn't like Bosom Buddies. I don't like Tom Hanks. Never did. Tobacco Pipes International. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, Mark. And Smarty Bob is having a Rops Cherrywood. Must be a Cherrywood theme tonight. Good point, Phil. It was me that had me confused. Which fits in even better with the time travel thing. Patrick Grant has got Sunbear, Tupelo, and a Phoenix bent apple. Sounds nice. So that's 2 strikes against it, Tim. Got Tom Hanks in it, and it's got a Billy Joel theme song. 907 Piper, hello. Good to see you. So before we get too far into things, actually, let me open up the message. You talk amongst yourself while I find this message. Sorry, that was rude of me. Please talk amongst yourself while I find. So, I have a reminder, and I'll try to remember to do this towards the end as well. I have a reminder from our buddy Armchair Piper that International Smoke Ring Day, smoke rings around the world, is coming up September 15th, and everyone can participate, and we want to try to do this to sort of, it's a community building thing, of course. So, on Friday, September 15th, everyone will do smoke rings that day for no reason at all. Just because, and if you make a video of it, that would be great. There's going to be how-to videos by Greg the Tunnel Take and good old Dr. Bo, and maybe some other folks will make some videos on how to make smoke rings. And it'll be posting videos from past years, and if you want to record your attempt and upload it to YouTube as an unlisted in an MP4 format, it'll make a little video about smoke rings smoked that day for later release. So, something to keep in mind. Ed also points out that this will be reported by Phil from the Briar Report, and Briar Report's readership has dropped off. So if you're not subscribed to Briar Report, go and do that, because why wouldn't you? So that's our public service announcement for the evening for Smoke Rings Around the World. And it's a fun event. So it's a fun event for absolutely there's no cause, there's no reward. It's just something fun to do. So look forward to that on September 15th. I love this new Larry Blackett tamper, but I got to ream this pipe, and I cannot get it into the darn pipe. So I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but Haunted Bookshop seems to be building cake much faster than it used to. Or maybe I'm just smoking a lot more than I used to. Poem watched Tom Hanks last night in Castaway. I'm sorry, Poem. I hope you've recovered. Tim, I know that's why you sent it to me. I know. I understood, Poem. I think that's what I said. And Couch is in the house. How you doing, Couch? Go out of the house so you can have a pipe. I'm a ham radio operator, Poem. I don't do it very often, but I got my license. The only redeeming value of Tom Hanks is he collects typewriters, says Michael Case. You know what, Michael? That doesn't do it for me. White Ash Squared says he's not a ham operator, but he eats the hell out of ham. Tim Fournier's gone to corned beef radio. Oh, Phil at Briar Report is a ham. I didn't know that, TPI. That's pretty cool. Yornik. Tom Hanks also photographs lost mittens and gloves. Why? You know, you guys are doing nothing to improve my opinion of Tom Hanks. Sailor, hello. He's smoking some Shandygaff and a very old Barantini billiard with a double gin martini on the side. Very nice. Codger Jim, I don't know if this event is AARL approved. I don't think anybody approves of this event. What if Tom Hanks is a YTPC? Let's tell you what, Tim. If you can get Tom Hanks to agree to be interviewed by me about his pipe smoking, I'll watch Bosom Buddies. How's that? Oh, that's cool, Mark. I didn't know that about Phil. What was the old ham operator saying on the forums? Malfeasance and discontent. I'm not getting it, Phil. Good one, Eunuch. Good one. Name that pipe. Hello. I know, Phil. Couch says that his aunt worked for Tom Hanks, and once said Tom Hanks couldn't act his way out of a nutsack from South Park, and she went ballistic. Well, you were right, Couch. Sorry your aunt didn't agree. I don't even want his money, White Ash Piper. What would I do with it? Oh, Eunuch. Oh, Couch, I forgot. Yes, of course. Act his way out of Epstein Island accusations as he moves to Greece, right? Is he the one that moved to Greece? Yeah, Michael, you know, it's a never-ending problem, though. You buy more pipe, you need more pipe racks, you need more pipe racks, you need more room to hang them. Next thing you know, you need a bigger house. I mean, it just, this constant quest for the next thing is something I'm trying to get away from. Says the man that spent most of today building a new sharpening jig for lathe turning, for wood turning tools. It's a nice one. I'm very happy with it. I haven't actually used it yet, but I got to the point where I could put a tool up and sort of hand move the wheel and see that it was giving a good scratch pattern. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the new grinder, new one-way sharpening system with the Very Grind, if anybody knows what that means. Really happy. I don't know who he took, Phil. I may have it wrong. It may not have been Hanks, but somebody moved to Greece because they, well, without getting myself in trouble here, there are things that you cannot be persecuted for in Greece. Persecuted. You can probably be persecuted for them, but you cannot be prosecuted for them in Greece, but you can be prosecuted for them here in the U.S. What to smoke in an excellent mortar? Asks Yornik. So Yornik's choices are Sun Bear, Purple Cow, a mix of various Englishes. Yornik, I don't like any of those. I should like Purple Cow, but I don't. Sure, Phil, I'd be happy to do that. Let's just let's chat about it, and you can give me the specs that you're looking for. I could do that. And then you could tell me how bad it is. Works for me, though. It's working fine for me. Where did I put my little... There it is. Oh, I need my glasses for this one, creator. Creator of the Boundless Universe checking in with something I'm not going to read. And I think it's time to move away from the Tom Hanks discussion. Alexander Hamilton took a trip to Strauss Tobacconists and enjoying some Sleepy Hollow and Peterson Dracula #3. Very nice. Uh-oh. Excuse me, I got something in the same darn eye. Tobacco Pipes International wants one too, huh? We can talk, Mark. We can definitely talk. Sounds good, Phil. Yeah, I can make it pretty much to any size you want, or any shape you want. Theoretically, any size you want, but you know, that could quickly get out of hand. So, Boo dude, how you doing, buddy? Never too late. All right, Yornix decided on the Sun Bear. There we go. So let me tell you the ginger thing, because this is really funny. So you every once in a while, this is going to sound vain, but it's really not. Every once in a while, I'll put my YouTube handle into Google just to see what comes up. The main reason I do it is there's some pipe smoking forums and stuff that I don't follow, and occasionally somebody will say they used the pipe mortar recipe. And I like just seeing what people think of it and if it's working or if they're having trouble with it. And so far, it's mostly been a couple of questions. A few people have said they've used it and they liked it, so that's good. But every once in a while I do this and something triggers it in me. I see something and I think, oh, I haven't done that in a while. So the other day I did this, and if you haven't done this and you're a YouTube presenter, I recommend you do it because it's really interesting. Try both Google and something like DuckDuckGo or Yandex or something like that, because you'll get different results. Google plays games with the algorithms and stuff. But well, first off, one of the things that's really interesting is that there are a lot of sites that are just reposting my videos, and I'm sure they're reposting your videos too. If you're just a viewer, go and pick one of your favorite creators and put it in there and see what comes up. So, yeah, our videos are being reposted by people on other forums, and a lot of these are Eastern European or Asian. I don't care. If somebody's getting information about pipe smoking, I'm more than happy to share it. I'm not looking for any credit or anything, and since it's my face in it, I guess I get the credit anyway. So, anyway, that's one thing that pops up. But I'm looking through this list, and it's usually things like, retorting a pipe with CaneRod piper or something like that. Or sometimes it'll be, I'm trying to think of an example that is not quite so pipe related. Like, it might be, let's say I do something on the real reason behind Memorial Day. And it might say, the real reason for Memorial Day, CaneRod piper, real reason for Memorial Day, something like that. And I'm just scrolling through looking for pipe mortar stuff, and I see this thing. It's me. It's not me. It's the thumbnail from my video, from one of these live stream videos, and it says next to it, "The truth about ginger from Gilligan's Island." So I thought, This should be interesting. There's Doug Owen. Hello, Doug. And Charlie Delgado. I don't think I caught you earlier. Wants to know if the newer Parker pipes are still considered Dunhill seconds. Yes, I am leaving you hanging. And I think that's got me fairly caught up. So, yes. It's like, the truth about Ginger from Gilligan's Island, or something like that. And I thought, well, what is this? And I clicked on it. It took me to what I can only call an aggregator site. It's just like thumbnail, 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 thumbnail with very short description underneath it of videos. Now, I didn't click on any of these because I don't need to be explaining why I would have clicked on them. But they all had, let's say, provocative looking women, very provocative titles, and all the women were redheads. And if you scroll down far enough, there's the live stream. So somebody's just searching for the word ginger, I guess, and putting together this, what I assume is an adult website, adult aggregator thing or something. And we, because you're part of this show, we are now on an adult website. And it was the episode where I put in the video description. Tonight we get to the bottom of, who's hotter, Ginger or Marianne. So it might have been the wording. But I also said, ask me the story about Ginger in this one. So maybe this will show up back on the site again, too. But I thought that was pretty darn funny. We hit the big time, guys. And maybe that's why YouTube decided that we're going to be adult only now. Yes, Urnick again. That's funny. Scroll down farther. I'm afraid to scroll down farther, Phil. I got off of there once I figured it out. Name That Pipe is enjoying some Poplar Camp and a Savinelli 320 and drinking a rum and coke. That's a good combination. Doug says Parker kind of gets a bad rap as a Dunhill second, as they were an independent pipe maker before the acquisition. Same is true of Rossi, now a Savinelli sub-brand, but was originally an independent. That makes sense. Big Dave, I couldn't agree more. And Armchair Piper, yep. It was funny, Armchair Piper and I did a video once when I was visiting him, and I might have this story wrong, but we decided as part of the video we were going to have an argument over Ginger versus Marianne because it comes up so often. And we actually had a real, not a serious argument, we had a real back and forth about the fact that we both wanted Marianne. We both wanted to be Team Marianne. So I forget who gave in on that one. Michael Case is bursting our bubble about Dawn Wells' singing voice. Well, there you have it. Rick Spence says there used to be a Dunhill subline called Savories or maybe Argyle, and wants to know if they're still out there. I haven't heard of either of those. Yornick says Raja's Court by C&D goes real well with some Woodford Reserve bourbon. Now you know. There you go. Yeah, Poem, I don't care. 3 hours, 3 years. I'm still Marianne. Yep, Bob, that's absolutely true. They own the content, not us. Is that Maui? How you doing, buddy? Welcome to September indeed. I guess your season's coming to a close, eh? It was a draw, Ed. It was. Okay, Doug says that Sabres and Argyles were both Dunhill seconds along with the Hardcastle. Thank you, Tim. That's nice of you to say. Absolutely, Big Dave. A farm girl over a movie star? No question about it. Wrapping up soon. Yeah, I bet. Has it been a good season? Busy? For you, those of you that don't know, Maui is the proprietor of Maui's Doghouse in North Wildwood, New Jersey. Wonderful place to get hot dogs and other food. Quite an extensive menu, actually. And it's hard for me to believe that it's September. Brian Dawkins, hello. Having some Peter Stokeby Navy cut in a battered Kamoy Everyman pot of state. That is a nice old curmudgeonly pipe for sure, Brian. Good deal. Well, busy's good, right? She was tan, Big Dave, yeah. I'm glad we were able to get Big Dave's mind off the Great Pumpkin. I felt bad bringing that up earlier. Oh, Yornik, we're going down that road again. I've already confessed to being a huge Mrs. Peel fan. She's one of the few women that I've told my wife flat out if I could invent time travel, I would leave her for. Funny, they're all in the past. All dead, too. Ah, Maui's also on the Marianne team. And Tim, there's just not as many Mrs. Howe fans around anymore. Maui wants to know if anyone's seen Mary Burke on YouTube. I haven't. What is it, Maui? What sort of thing does she do? Armchair Piper's got Burley Morning Pipe in the Friday Savinelli. Very nice. Yes, Flint Hill, it will soon be. Time for the World War I Flying Ace to fire up the Sopwith Camel. Perfection indeed, Yornik. Total package there. Oh, Phil, that's funny. Tanning pills in the 80s turned his buddy's eyes an attractive orange hepatic glow. Hepatic. I don't know how to say that. It's a word, I just don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah. That's not good, Brian. Okay, Maui, I will have to check her out then. Mary Burke, a great mature woman building stuff. Lord Hogarth, are you asking about Mrs. Peel in real life? Diana Riggs, she passed away a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Uh, the character Mrs. Peel, her husband returned and she drove off with him. And named that pipe just wants some coconut cream pie. I knew you were referring to hepatitis, Phil, but that should be a word. It's like the adjective form of hepatitis. Hepa, hepatitic. I think that would be right. Ah, okay, Maui. I'm starting to see through the. I'm starting to get it now. Poem, they were gentlemen. Sailor says you read an article from a philosophy professor postulating that as chaos increases, so does the apparent passage of time. Meaning time goes faster in chaotic times? I would actually think it would slow down, just based on experience. Yes, Tim, they were reunited and it felt so good, yes. You know, Yornik, I remember that episode, and other people have said the same thing, that Mr. Peel looked exactly like Steed with a mustache, but I don't remember it that way. I remember her riding away in a car, and you just see the back of his head. I'm gonna have to find that episode and rewatch it, because it's been years since I've seen it. We all know why Mr. Bean left Mr. Bean. I do not know, Phil. But boy, that's a funny show. Ah, good deal, Maui. I hope you enjoy that, buddy. I think it's a fine word, Phil. In fact, I'm gonna go into work on Monday and use it. So Michael Case is saying Mrs. Peel's husband bore a striking resemblance to Steed, but you didn't see his face. And yes, Lord Hogarth, that tension was definitely there. I mean, that's one of the reasons the show was so popular. Yeah, Phil, that's my experience too. I mean, it seems to me that time goes more quickly when there's less to distract you. So I would think chaos would actually slow time down. But Paul Johnson, how you doing, Paul? Good to see you tonight. And Doug Owen doesn't recall seeing the face either. But Yornik's not the only person that's told me they saw his face, so we'll sort it. Phil, my entire career is based on that. Tim makes a good point. It might depend a lot on the person and how that person handles stress. Very good point, Tim. It does go by when you're having fun, no question, creator. Yep, that's one of the consequences of relativity, Phil. Of course, you don't know that it's slowing down. It only slows down from an external frame of reference, so complicated. I think you're right about that, Yornik. Definitely, when we're kids, time seems to take. I mean that time between the end of school and the start of school seemed to be. Well, it wasn't an eternity. It didn't last forever because it was always a disappointment when it ended. But it seemed so much longer than the short summer we have now as adults. And I think it's just because, like you say, every day was something new. Doug thinks that Mr. Peel's face might have looked like the back of a head. That would sort of make everybody right. Is that so, Lord Hogarth? So, guys who have been in combat say time passes slowly. Interesting. Lynn Hill Breyer says you hear of folks in very dire situations saying time slows down. Yeah. Well, certainly, like, people that are in accidents say everything was in slow motion. Good point, Tim. Cousin It looked the same from the front and the back. Maybe Mrs. Peel was married to Cousin It. That would explain everything. I think that adventure point is really the crux of it, Phil. And I think that we need to start having more adventures. That should be our goal in life. I joke with my wife about adventures. I like those weekend mornings when I would go off to the flea market for a couple hours. I tell her I'm going to go have an adventure, or I haven't had an adventure in a long time. And it's true. It used to be much more common that I would, spend Saturday fishing or something, and I just look at a map on Friday night and say, oh, this is where I'm going to go, and I just get up in the morning and go, and it was an adventure. I wasn't hacking through a jungle or anything, but it was different from the day to day, and I don't do that anymore. Got to do it more. We all got to do it more. And spend less damn time looking at our phones and screens as I'm creating images that people are going to look at on their phones and screens. But, you know, I never said I wasn't a hypocrite. Time passes slowly up here in the mountains. What song is that from? I do not know, Michael. It sounds vaguely familiar. Someone should know. Adrenaline sort of makes you feel like time is slowing down. Yep, Uranic, that makes sense. Yeah, that would be a time to slow down, Brian. Old Uncle Mike, hello. On a trip, the ride home always seems faster than a ride there. I don't know, maybe. They definitely do not seem the same length. I can't decide which is which, though. Fishing is always an adventure, especially the way I do it, Michael. Tango with Morticia would be an adventure, creator. Oh, Bob, yeah. I mean, you've got 20 years on me, and I feel that way already. Go on adventures, Bob. Have new experiences. Become a skydiver or something, you know? Or it doesn't have to be that extreme, you know? Take up woodworking, calligraphy, something. You know, something that you've never done before. Go out and have an adventure. That's my advice. Mike Blocker, how you doing, Mike? He says, watching me is an adventure. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Yes, Lord Hogarth, that would pretty well describe life when you're older. Yeah, Flint Hill, I get that. The way out, it's you're on an adventure. On the way back, it's just boring. Yep. Good way to think of it, sailor. Time in a Bottle was a great song. I was thinking of Jim Croce today. What was the song I was thinking of? It'll come to me. It wasn't Time in a Bottle. Lost in the 50s. I did not see the record-setting Nebraska volleyball game. I don't know under which circumstances that would happen, but what? How did it set a record? Yeah, Phil, it's a sad way to think about it, but it's probably accurate. Flint Hill's lighting up a bowl of H&H Rustic on an empty stomach as an adventure. There you go. Oh, thank you, Yornik. Yes, folks, please do hit that like button. Helps get the word out. And we are competing against some folks that are getting the word out much more effectively than us. Not that it's a competition, but we want to grow the community. And some of those folks don't want to grow the community, so I'll leave it at that. Ah, you could try packing chutes instead, Phil. Smarty Bob's Big Adventure trying to blow smoke rings for Ed. There you go. Yes, Tom, Svengoolie is the 1931 Frankenstein this week, and I'm looking forward to that. I love that movie. That just might be. Well, it's definitely it's in my top three. That's interesting, Doug, and I suppose an adventure. No, it wasn't operator. Mushroom Leg, good evening, my friend. Good to see you tonight. What is going on, Phil? Oh, it was a world record for women's sports attendance. Must have been a really slow day in Nebraska. I got the lyric going through my head now for the Jim Croce song. I don't know the title of it. It might be We spent the whole night talking. The chorus is, we spent the whole night talking. You said you'd like to see the sunrise, but in the cold of morning, there was nothing that I had not seen in your eyes. Beautiful lyrics. Thank you, Phil. If it's who I'm thinking of, creator, they said they weren't a YTPC member. Old Uncle Mike is he's doing advanced stuff, trying to blow one smoke ring through another. Ron Hardcrackers was babysitting daughter's dogs. Oh boy. Everybody's naming Jim Croce songs, but none of them. Seems like such a long time ago. That if I don't know if that's the title, but that's okay. Phil's saying the same. Yes, that's the song. That's the song. That's a great song. Yeah, Doug, I think you should try that fully rigged ship for the smoke rings around the world this year. September 15th. You can get that down by the 15th, right? It's not Photographs and Memories. No, that's a different song. That one's We Sure Had a Good Time When We Started Way Back Then. Morning walks and bedroom talks. Oh, how I loved you then. This is it definitely seems like such a long time ago. That's the song. They're all good. I mean, Jim Croce was incredible. I don't know if anyone knows if he wrote his lyrics or not. I have no idea. But not many Jim Croce songs I don't like. Well, folks, we're done with the Haunted Bookshop. You know what that means? Oh, Yornik, that's what a wonderful story. Well, old Uncle Mike, we can start with a canoe, I guess, but we've got until the 15th to put some rigging on it. He did write most of them. That's interesting, Jim. It was Foghorn. Okay. Well, I don't mind talking about it. He put out a video. I don't even know who the guy is. I've never seen his videos. I've only seen people reacting to them. And this is how weird this world has become. This YouTube world has become. Here's a guy I've never heard of. I've never seen him in my subscription feed or my home feed, where it just shows you things that you think you might want to watch. Never heard of him. He's got close to 20,000 subscribers. Came out of nowhere. And he made a video saying, I don't want to be a part of this thing, this YTPC thing. And a couple people got on him about it. He said that there's these unwritten rules and all this kind of stuff. Hey, then don't be a part of it. It's not, nobody asked you to. You don't have to be asked. I mean, it's just, if you want to do it, fine. If you don't want to do it, go do something else. And he was one of these, ridiculous number of subscribers and send me money kind of guys. So, not a big deal. We got to pick the tobacco of the week. And Big Dave wants Mixture 79, and I do not have that in the mix, but I can get it. Can I get it? That's pretty far up there. No, I can't get it. Just trying to catch up here. Time for a lat bomb. Oh, boy. Yes, Yornik, that is the first rule. Yeah, Phil, I guess that's kind of the problem, isn't it? And you got thin skin, apparently. The rules are written if you read them. There are no rules. Come on, we're a loose confederacy of semi-literates. And I include myself in that. I'm not. Sorry, that's just the first word that came to mind. Let's pick the tobacco of the week before I get myself in trouble here. So we're putting Cajun cake back in the mix because I got the Cajun cake open here, and that's good stuff. And just so you know, if you don't choose Cajun cake this week, I'm going to smoke it anyway. But I will smoke the tobacco of the week. By the way, last week was Best Brown Flake. I talked about that on Wednesday because on Sunday I was breaking in my new pipe and I didn't want to put Best Brown Flake in it. So I did a Wednesday video for that, and that was quite nice. Darn it, I only have two. Okay. So the other option is this John Patton Oriental Dusk. And this is from, why don't I put my glasses on? Why do I only have two? Sorry, guys, I told you I was in a rush. So this is from 2015, John Patton Oriental Dusk, which I have not had in quite some time. And I guess if you really force me to, I can find something else. But can we just do two this week, or? Big Dave wants something that produces huge billowing clouds of white smoke. Lurker Troy, you're always a winner, buddy. I'll tell you what, I'll throw one more thing in. Nah. I've got an aromatic I was going to throw in, but I don't want to smoke an aromatic all week. Gary Edminster, how you doing, buddy? All right, so we got 3 votes for Cajun Cake and 2 votes for Oriental Dusk. 4 for Cajun Cake. 3 for Oriental Dusk. Bye for Cajun cake. York says he's not a Southerner. Fresh out of bacon old fashioned number 3 there, Doug. Sorry. Cajun cake, Cajun cake. It's taking a lead. It's taking a big lead over Oriental Dusk. Didn't want it to do that, but it's done. There's another Cajun cake. All right. I don't have a lot of Cajun cake left, which is fine. I mean, that's not a big deal. But I shared some of this at the show, and I've been smoking it a fair amount as well. All out of crooner, old Uncle Mike. Sorry. Cajun cake with a plastic bin in the tin. Yeah, I think so, Smarty Bob. I think we're gonna go with Cajun cake now. So we got the Cajun cake here, and you probably have seen it, but it is this nice cake, and that's actually all I got left, but that's a couple bowls worth. And we are gonna smoke the Cajun cake in this beautiful Phil Rivera pipe. That Phil does such a nice job. A little pot, got some beautiful silver work on there. Hope that's coming through. And Phil, someday I want to get you to make me a bigger one of these. A bigger, wider pot. Maybe after you get that new French wheel, huh? So I'm rubbing this out just because it's a crumble cake. Pretty easy to pack. It rubs out real easy. And it's, most Cornell and Deal blends are pretty much ready to smoke moisture-wise, and this is no exception. It's a little damper than things like Haunted Bookshop, which come very dry, but it's not bad. And if you haven't had it, it's just a really good Virginia Perique. Big Dave, you need those blends that produce billowous clouds of creamy white smoke for smoke rings around the world, September 15th. Am I plugging enough, Ed? I'm trying. Ah, okay, Paul. So Paul has the pipe I want. Well, not just a deeper bowl. I want a wider bowl, too. Bill is indeed an artist. A scooped pot. Sounds interesting, Phil. Lurker Troy, you just ask him. Oh, Michael Case can't do Perique anymore. Sorry, buddy. Oh boy, Ron, isn't that always the case? But they're just so lovable. Yeah, Tim, that's a good point. I hope if they all blew them in the same direction, that might be a problem. Hillbilly Piper, how you doing, Donnie? Oh, he doesn't like you, Troy. Okay, well, that's a problem then. Sorry to check my telefono device there, but from The Simpsons, in case you know. But I'll tell the story later. But my wife's in Pittsburgh, and she's been dealing with stuff, so just wanted to make sure all was okay. Tim's driving the struggle bus again. What's that mean, Tim? Ah, eyes are getting heavy. Gotcha, buddy. Well, if you gotta go, you gotta go. We only got 20 minutes or so left. I don't know if she's gonna get a Pittsburgher or not, Phil. She had a turkey sandwich today. Or was that yesterday? There's a place that makes these turkey sandwiches she really likes, and she looks forward to going there when she's home. And they're good sandwiches. The telefono device thing is from a Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns is trying to find Smithers and he decides to call him on the telefono device, which he's apparently never used. And he picks it up and says, let's see, SMI. He's just typing his name into it because he doesn't know how to use the phone. I thought he was one of the funnier characters on that show. I guess it's still going on. I haven't watched it in a long time. All right, Tim. Thanks so much for joining us, buddy. You have a good night and get some sleep. Ah, Big Dave, we hadn't mentioned that. Thank you for the reminder. Yes, Bob Barker. May he rest in peace indeed. And it is hilarious that he got as close to 100 as possible without going over. Yeah, that is quite funny. Because my grandparents both were huge Price is Right fans, and I spent a lot of time with them. I say they were huge Price is Right fans. They watched it. I mean, it's not like they had flags or anything. They just watched it all the time. Uh, so I got some very early memories of sitting with them watching it. I'm guessing the showcase amount. Yeah, Flint Hill. That happens a lot when they get older because they drop out of your awareness. Yep, spay and neuter your pets. That was his thing for sure. Oh, BLTs are good, Phil. I've got so many tomatoes right now from our CSA. My wife doesn't eat tomatoes, so I've got like a pound of cherry tomatoes, and I had 2 big bags of regular tomatoes. I just finished one of the bags tonight. Made salsa. All right, Mark, TPI, you have a blessed evening and sleep well, my friend. Yeah, I guess in his day, Bob did circulate there, Hogarth. There was some big. Does anybody remember the big scandal? Was it around him or one of his showgirls posed in Playboy or something like that? This was back in the 90s. There was a big scandal around The Price is Right. And if I can remember what that is, I've got a really funny story for you about it, but I can't remember what the scandal was. Yeah, Phil, I could do that, but I'd rather just eat them. I like tomatoes. I really like them a lot. Diane Parkinson, that sounds really familiar, Lord Hogarth. So did she pose in Playboy? I hope so, because that makes the story really fun. By the way, we're clearly getting an adult rating tonight. I've said Playboy. We talked about adult website aggregators, the Ginger and Marianne thing, of course, and there was something else thrown in there that we probably shouldn't have talked about. So yeah, we're definitely getting the adult rating tonight. Yes, Smarty Bob, he was just auditioning them. Okay, so she was in Playboy and she was also with, and they weren't, Bob was married at the time and Diane, okay, so that's good. That makes some sense. So I'll just tell you the story with that as the background. Uh, so I went to this barber in Pittsburgh, and I loved this barber. Um, the reason I loved him was he was an old-fashioned barber. He was cheap. I was in grad school at the time, and I didn't have a lot of money, and I also didn't have a lot of time because I'd work till really late. And I would suddenly, people would start to say, "You really got to get a haircut," because I just didn't pay attention to it. And I hate getting my haircut, which is part of the reason why I do this now. So I found this guy. I call him the vacuum your head guy because he actually had a shop vac, and after he was done cutting your hair, he would run the shop vac over your hair and over your clothes and everything. You could go get a haircut in the middle of the day and go back to work, and you didn't have like clipped hair falling out of your head or anything. It was great. I loved this. So he was the vacuum your head guy, and he was an old-fashioned barbershop in Oakland, if you're familiar with that area of, around the University of Pittsburgh. And I would go. It was up a flight of steps. I forget which street it was off of, but you had to go up a flight of steps to get to it. And he had, the normal barbershop waiting area where, you'd sit down, there'd be other guys there talking and stuff, and there was a table, and it would have magazines on it, and many of these magazines were Playboy magazines, which for some reason were in 3-ring binders with plastic covers on them. I never understood that, but a lot of barbershops did that. Maybe so that you'd know right away that a kid was reading it, because the other magazines were just sitting there, those magazines. And the other thing that was interesting about this barbershop was that the barber, was a big fan of Diane Parkinson. He had autographed picture. He had a life-size cutout of her, like the kind of thing that you would pose with to get your picture taken. All these pictures of Bob Barker with the girls and stuff, and it was kind of odd, but that was his thing. He really liked Diane Parkinson, I guess, and was a big fan of the show. He did have flair. That's ridiculous. Anyway, so I went to him every time I needed a haircut, and it was great. And I didn't really get to know him or anything because it was just, he was a grumpy old guy and he cut my hair and I'd leave. So this scandal breaks with the Diane Parkinson in Playboy, which is kind of interesting because he had the Playboy magazines there. And then the whole thing with her cheating with Bob Barker and Bob Barker's wife and whatnot. And I'm thinking about that, and I have to go get my hair cut, and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if we'll have the Playboy issue that has Diane Parkinson in it. That would be kind of funny. And I go up and I walk into the barbershop, and it's all gone. It's all gone. He's taken everything down. All the pictures are gone. The cutouts gone. The Playboy magazines are all gone. And I guess she just crossed the line that he would not accept, and he decided that was, that hussy had to go. So yeah, that's my Diane Parkinson barbershop story. Bob was born on an Indian reservation. That is interesting. Diane mistakenly gave away a car. Yeah, I hear Playboy does have a lot of interesting other subject matter. A lot of guys would read it for the, what was the old joke? Read it for the stereo reviews or something like that. Yeah, Smarty Bob. Back in the day, you could see quite a bit in National Geographic. Indeed. XJ, yes, it's already the 2nd of September for you, buddy. Good to see you, my friend. No, Big Dave, he just kind of stuck with the, what were the other ones that you'd have, like Field and Stream, Guns and Ammo, that kind of stuff. There was probably some sort of muscle car magazine. Just guy stuff. Read it for the interviews. That's what people would say, Doug. Yes. Yes. And I think God himself would chuckle at that. It's quite a rite of passage. Being a young kid peeking in that Playboy in the barbershop. Yeah. Not anymore, I suppose. I mean, now you see stuff far more extreme than anything you would have seen in Playboy back then, whether you want it or not, which is kind of a shame. It's desensitizing folks, and no, that's a story for another day, I guess. I'll tell you one other quick story about this barber. He was probably in his 70s, old guy, but he cut my hair well and he vacuumed my head, so I didn't care. And I say cut my hair well, I don't even know what that meant. I just wanted it cut. I just didn't want to have long hair, It wasn't a complicated thing that he was doing. And sometimes he was crowded, sometimes he wasn't, but it was never more than like maybe a 30-minute wait. So I could go during lunch, get my hair cut. It was great. I went in one day, it was really busy. Had about 6 people waiting, and I never had seen that. And, I sat down and looked at my watch and thought, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick around for this. And he must have seen me because he turns to me and says, hey, don't worry, my father's going to come out and help in a few minutes. And sure enough, after a while, this bald, very old man comes shuffling out very slowly to the other barber chair and gestures like, and everybody looks and they all point at me and say, we're waiting for him. So I now have to go and get my hair cut by the extremely old man, and he's shaking and trembling and everything. And it was just, I was certain he was going to cut an ear off. He didn't, but it was kind of funny. He asked me if I wanted a shave, which was hilarious. Never had a barber shaving, actually. I hear it's nice, but I've never had that happen. So yeah, when he said my dad's coming out, I thought that was pretty funny. And that's every barber story I have from Pittsburgh. So there you go. Playboy Pokemon edition. That would be an odd one, York. Oh, I've seen, yes, XJ, I've seen, I think in England they had a page 7 girl or something in one of the newspapers. That wouldn't fly here. Even today, I don't think that would fly. This is true, Doug. They were not exactly fold-out material. I don't know if he used the shop back, Lord Hogarth. He might have. You know what, Flynn Hill? I'll claim you, Hefner, as a pipe smoker because and he did smoke mixture 79, Big Dave. Yes. I mean, granted, what Hefner sold wasn't necessarily something we all approve of. It's not something I approve of, but he built an empire out of it, and he's an interesting guy, and he was a pipe smoker. Piper on the 45. Enjoy the nap, buddy. Have a great weekend. I haven't gotten a haircut in almost 5 years either, Poem. I got a wall clipper and I'm a happy man. But you know, I want to go back to the Hefner thing for a minute because that's. Now, I've said this before, other people have said it too, but you know, one of the wonderful things about pipe smoking, one of the things that makes this community as wonderful as it is that we're all here because of, you know, a pipe. And I might be a burley smoker and you might be an aromatic smoker and all that, but that doesn't matter. And likewise, you know, I might be Catholic and you might be Protestant and Hindu and everything else, and that doesn't matter. And we might be liberal or conservative or whatever, and that doesn't matter. This is the reason we're together, and friendships come of that are stronger than those things that separate people. And I put Hefner in that category. I think if he were alive today and we could get him to come to a pipe meetup, we'd probably get along just fine with him, regardless of our differences of. I don't think we know what brand of pipes Hefner, at least I don't know what brand of pipes Hefner smoked, Patrick. I know there was a Playboy line of pipes. XJ, I'm sure that's the case. That would change things, Yornik, yes. Ah, one snip pony. That's funny, Poem. I try not to buffer Smarty Bob, but I might. Yeah, Flint Hill, there was a lot of crap there for sure. He did smoke billiards. Doug's saying it was Kamoy. Would make sense at the time. Wow, that's reactionary, Yernick. He kept a tub of 79 in every room, and all of the bunnies that lived there were trained to pack his pipe for him. Yeah, Doug, Kamoy was huge back then. That's why I'm saying it makes sense. Oh, you have one of the Playboy pipes, XJ. That's one that I keep an eye out for. Of course she does, Yornik. Of course. I don't know if I said this. I don't know if I told the story on here or if it was on my Sunday video about my ER visit when I was at the pipe show, but I had a lot of pretty lousy interactions with people at that hospital. But there was one nurse who was a tall, thin woman, completely shaved head, tattoos, actually tattoos on her scalp. Last person in the world that you would look at and think that's going to be a helpful person, and she was wonderful. She was kind, caring, compassionate, everything that you would hope for at a nurse. So if you're out there watching tall, bald nurse whose name I never learned, thank you. I can't imagine, Yornik. That would have to hurt. I don't know if Big Dave's still with us, but those are some voluminous clouds of white smoke there, Big Dave. And this, I haven't said much about it, but this, I'll talk about it on Sunday. This is really good stuff. I was really surprised by how much I like this. And it lasts a long time, too. Oh, Flint Hill's enjoying the Bob's Chocolate Flake. People keep telling me to try that. I've got a tin upstairs that I got to pull out someday. Maybe that'll become a tobacco of the week choice. Yes, XJ, that sounds painful. I hope you didn't do that recently. Patrick Grant says he's got 3 Kamoys and a Kamoy second, the oldest one from 21. Wow. I do not have a Kamoy. I don't have a Kamoy. I don't have a Sheraton. There's another one I really should try to add. Yeah, those are 2. For some reason, I've just never come across one that I thought I would like. I bet you do get a sense of that, XJ. All right, name that pipe. You have a great Labor Day weekend too, buddy. And I do think we're gonna wrap this up because we're actually a minute over. My goodness. So no, don't, no, Doug, no. Kind of you, but please. People are too kind. There's some controversy now about maybe it was Dunhills that have smoked. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was one or the other. I don't even want to think of what we'll see in 50 years. I won't be around to see it, thank goodness. Oh, Doug. I'm going to have to send you all my capstan. Well, folks, we are going to draw this to a close. I got a little bit to chug here. But I want to thank you all for joining me. This has been a lot of fun, as it always is. I'm sure we gave the algorithm something to chew on tonight. I'll be back on Sunday with a video. I think you'll find interesting. I've been thinking about what I'm going to talk about, and I've got a little plan, so we'll see. And of course, we'll be back next Friday with another live stream. So with that, I will finish this up. Wish you all the best for the weekend, and especially the folks in the U.S. that are celebrating Labor Day weekend. Enjoy the holiday. And until then, take care, and we'll chat soon. Bye, folks.